What's up, everybody? This is the Sports League Podcast. Back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak, and back once again. It's like your sixth time on the show. Great to have you, Ricky G. Great to have you back on the show, man.
What's up? I've been on this show that many times. Yeah, damn.
Absolutely, and every time is awesome. And I call you like the king of NBA Twitter, and I always say the best follow on the app. Like your Twitter following, the back and forth, all the basketball conversation, everything is awesome all year long.
Well, I think I built a pretty good page. I got a lot of great followers.
Yeah,
So, but we
yeah.
have a good time. It's not stop. It's
I,
I got a good basketball line.
I
But
gotta
a lot
call
of
out a few. I gotta call out a few people on there from time to time. I'll call them like wannabe Nick Wright or something like that.
well, those things happen. But
Yeah.
no, my line, my line's an interesting line. I have a lot of basketball guys, and I'm talking coaches, high school coaches, college coaches,
Hmm.
male, female. We have a lot of good conversations on our line, and it keeps going. It's going. It goes all day. I don't like right now. I'm not even on my line right now. And it's still scrolling. They still
Yep.
talking.
Yep.
I try to give a few topics just to get some emotions involved in the morning, and let's let it go, and they go with it.
Yeah. No, it's awesome, and this is the best time of the year to have you on too. You talk about this, anytime on your line you talk about is the final four. The final four teams. You need to build your team to be to play your best at this time of the year. And so this has got to be, your favorite time of the year. The conference finals coming up starting tomorrow night. I can't wait.
Well, see, in the NBA, and I say this quite a bit on my line. The NBA has 3 seasons: the regular season, the playoffs, and the last 4 teams standing. And I always try to point to people when you talk about players and evaluate players, and this player can do this or this player can do that. Does their game translate to the last 4 teams standing? And if they don't, I'm not really that interested in them. And I think there's a lot of players in the NBA that their game don't translate to the last 4 teams standing. And
Yeah.
I think you're right. We're down to the last 4 teams. The West is death. The
Yep.
East is the East is what it is. We're going to get to see, can we trust Boston? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yep.
I asked the question not if Boston's been a under double digit favorite this year in the playoffs, and a couple guys said they've been under 10 a couple times when they played Cleveland, but they've been a double digit favorite almost every game in the playoffs. So that speaks volumes for how tough the East is.
Yeah, and no Jimmy Butler, right? So they got to avoid that. And then Donovan Mitchell gets hurt and misses games 4 and 5. So they've had a pretty, easy run so far. We'll
Yeah,
see.
but
I
they're
think the
pretty.
Pacers are going to be a hell of
They
a
got a good
matchup.
team though. The
Yeah,
good thing
they
about
do.
Boston, they do have a legit team, but they need Porzingis if they're going to beat
Yeah.
the West. But
Well, Drew,
I thought the chip was Denver to lose. I thought Denver was the best team until I went and watched Game 3 in Phoenix, and I sit on the floor on the baseline and
hmm
watching Minnesota live. I After that night, I started firing some warning shots. Hey, this Minnesota defense is legit. It's one of the best defenses I've seen in maybe in the last 15, 20 years or so. You
Wow.
know, I was trying to go back. The Warriors when they had KD and Iggy and Livingston, and they had all that length with Clay. That was
Yeah,
pretty good. But then after that, you got to go. I think you got to go all the way back to maybe the Pistons. Maybe the
that's
Celtics
crazy.
that one year with Garnett. I don't remember their guards. Rondo was there. He was pretty good.
Yeah, Garnett and Perkins down there.
But they got length, they got speed, they got two bigs, they got backup bigs. They're deep. They're a good basketball team. They're legit. Now I'm interested to watch Dallas play
Yep.
Minnesota. I want to see the Luka McDaniel's matchup. I want to see the Kyrie Ant matchup. I mean, fuck, that's some dudes, man.
Yeah.
If Luca cooks these guys, I mean, I'll just tip my hat to him and give him his props because
Yeah, exactly.
this team is this team is long and they got speed. And
uh, let's talk about that because I was all in. I said going into the playoffs, I said that's Denver's to lose. Like I didn't see how anyone could beat the Nuggets 4 times in 7 games. And I just Jokic and Jamal Murray and even Aaron Gordon, they were just an offensive, almost unstoppable. And I was one of those non-believers when they brought in Gobert to go with Karl Anthony Towns. I was like, how is this gonna work? Is it, I didn't really know if it was gonna work. Were you surprised by the way Minnesota handled Denver as well as they did?
Well, I agreed with you, and I said many times that nobody could guard the two-man game in Denver, but Minnesota showed us they can. And once I saw that they can, with all that length on the back line
Yeah.
and the speed on Murray, yeah, and then I said, okay, this is going to be a problem. But see what Gobert. See, people just don't understand Gobert. And first of all, I get it. If you've never been on the floor with a very serious athlete that's a rim protector with that size,
Yeah.
they don't understand what he does to he shrinks the floor to a shoebox.
Yeah.
And first of all, what people don't understand is, yeah, he might struggle one on one with Jokic, but everybody does. But here's the problem with Gobert and Jokic. Okay, Jokic might get him, but Gobert messes the other four up on the floor. He
Yeah.
changes, took away so many shots from the other players. And then they used him on a back line. See, they put Towns on Jokic first because he has a lower, stronger base. And
Mm-hmm.
Jokic can't back him down where Gobert, he could go through Gobert's chest. So
Okay.
they put Gobert on the back line behind Towns, but that's for two reasons. One, to help Towns, but the other one was to take the other four players out at the rim.
Mm-hmm.
And see, people, like last night when Barkley at halftime said bench him and everybody was coming after me, bench him for offense. No, you come right out and see what Coach Fitz said at halftime. Look, young teams, when they get down 20 points, they want to get 20 points back in a hurry. They just want to do it. They think they got to do it with buckets.
Yeah.
Fitz sold them last night at halftime. No, we're going to get back in this game by stopping them from getting buckets and just shut their water off. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what happened. They were down 20. They go on a run. Gobert comes out of the game. They're only down 6. And
Mm-hmm.
today people are trying to tell you the run started after Gobert. No, he didn't. See, I'm not a plus minus guy, but when
Yeah.
you start talking about runs on players and saying, well, they did the run after, no, let's go look at the plus minus number. It don't back you up on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but
It was
Gobert was the
crazy.
difference last night, and McDaniel's obviously an ant. But first of all, Minnesota's identity is defense with Gobert and the two bigs. They're not
Yeah.
going to trash their identity. They're not
Yep.
going to do that. That's foolish.
Exactly.
And
That because the fans and even Charles Barkley, but the people on Twitter who, the coach gets paid all that money to make that decision, and he didn't panic. Everyone else was panicking. You're down 15 at halftime. You got to
well,
abandon this, right?
no,
But the coach didn't. Yeah.
that's why
Well,
I tweeted. They got 10 coaches sitting over there. If they can't see it, then you can't see it either.
yeah. And I was surprised to hear Charles Barkley say that.
Well, I'm not. I mean, these guys. I mean,
Is it like hot takes?
I don't know what that was. Well, look at Draymond Green. He was really unprepared tonight. He talked about Gobert getting cooked when Jokic was 11 for 26 on him before he went on that 9-shot run.
Yeah.
And then today I saw on my Twitter feed, I saw one of his podcast clips where he said the league they got on a run and Gobert went out. That ain't true. They
Hmm.
were down 20 and he went out. It was mine. They were down 6. These guys, I don't know. It is these
Will
guys
you?
don't pay attention sometimes, and I don't know what's. But the problem is with Gobert, there's so much hate on this guy, and I don't get it. But it
Yeah.
is what it is. I'm a Gobert fan because I played with the pro in summer runs when I was younger, and a guy by the name of Lonnie Shelton. And
Hmm.
when Lonnie Shelton was playing behind me, I could get up on guards and get in their chest and did more if they beat me
Hmm.
because Lonnie's right there. Well, I also played when Lonnie wasn't on the floor, and I always couldn't get up on a guard in his chest because if he did beat me, I don't have Lonnie there to protect me.
Yeah.
See, people don't understand, and they dogged him in Utah. Utah had no perimeter defenders on point of attack. He was just cleaning up all their messes.
Hmm.
It is what it is. I
Unless
fight it.
you,
I
unless
fight it
you
and I
play
fight it. Even when the trade happened, I said it was a great trade. They tried to bag me up on trading for him.
it.
You
Yeah,
know, it is what
you
it
bring up
is.
excellent points though, because unless you play on the court with guys like that, I don't think you really understand. Like a shot blocker with that much length, that's going to have everyone second guessing and thinking about that. You know what I mean?
I
And
said on the inline game 3, and I watch him just basically put Booker in a shoebox with his mid range because he was standing there every time, just
yeah,
standing. I mean, look how many shots. People watch him give up 3 or 4 baskets to Jokic, or Jokic going through his chest. That's all they
hmm,
see. What they
yeah,
don't see is 5 to 8 or 9 shots that he changed at the rim or he contested the rim on the other players.
hmm,
See, that's what they
and
don't. Murray got in the mid range a couple times last night. He couldn't finish because Gobert was contesting.
yeah, and
But
Murray's one of the best at that. Devin Booker as well.
yeah,
So if Gobert can make them second guess, then he can make anyone. And you bring up a great point that like even the greatest defenders of all time. I mean, Gobert just recently joined. He's got 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards with Mutombo and Ben Wallace, and those guys have gotten cooked at times too. Like,
well, Shaq
eh,
cooked Mutombo in the finals.
yeah,
It
and
happens.
yeah,
The
it
best
happens.
offensive player is going to cook the best defensive player when he's in the zone.
Hmm.
That's just the way it is.
And
See,
that's what I thought.
what's interesting about that conversation is
Yeah.
when the guards, the perimeter players get hot and get in the zone and cook people, it's great shots and it's great offense. When Jokic
Hmm.
does it, it's bad defense and it's Gobert.
Because he
I
does it.
mean,
People hate it because it's like so slow and methodical, and they think it's like I don't know.
well,
Yeah,
man,
the
it is
skill
what
is
it is.
obvious.
Jokic is the best player in the world. And he's,
Yeah,
his numbers back it up. He's got 3 MVPs, and now I think Murray's an all-star, but he don't have any all-stars on his team, and he's carrying them. It is what
yeah.
it is. But I
What
still
do you?
think Denver. I thought Denver was the best team until I saw Minnesota in Phoenix, and I had concerns.
I just had a hard time believing in Minnesota. I'm one of those I have to see it to believe it. And so you saw it, and you were ahead of the curve on that. Me, I'm watching it. I just couldn't buy into it until they did that to Denver, and it's like, wow, that
Well,
opened my eyes.
I was a little hesitant because I didn't trust Towns, and
Yeah,
Towns was good though. Towns had a good series, even though he had a couple bad games. He had a good series.
hmm, yeah. Yeah, and it's just crazy. Like, what do you think of all the Anthony Edwards, Michael Jordan comparisons? Because I
Well,
love Anthony, I
that's
love
twofold.
Anthony Edwards,
That's
but like,
twofold. That's
let's
twofold.
pump the brakes a little bit.
No, well, okay. Let's pump the brakes, but let's tell why they're saying it. If
Yeah,
I think Edwards is Michael Jordan when Jordan was 22, that's a fair comparison.
yeah,
People think they're saying Ant is Michael Jordan at Michael Jordan's peak. That's a bad
hmm,
comparison.
yeah,
Ant isn't quite the scorer Michael was. I mean, Michael gave Bird and them guys 60-point games a few times,
yeah. And then
but but but
and
he didn't
Michael was
have
what
a lottery team.
the steals leader, the scoring champ, the blocking shots. Like Anthony Edwards is great, but he's
But
not at
I
that
think
level yet.
no, he's not. Well, he might be at the young Michael level, but not at the real Michael level. I think me
But
personally, I think Ant's the best two-way player in the game, and I'll tell you why.
yeah,
Because he control the game more on the perimeter, whereas a guy like Giannis or AD, some of those guys, they're more of shot blockers or paint protectors. They can't
hmm,
go out and lock up a guard. And came
yeah,
out last night in second half and he just put handcuffs on Murray.
hmm,
And
yeah,
see,
yeah.
that's why I like Ant, even though Ant's smaller. To me, Ant's a dude, man.
Hmm. Um,
But we're gonna get to watch him guard Kyrie, so let's see how that goes.
exactly. I can't wait for that matchup. Wolves and Mavs. That's gonna be great. Celtics Pacers as well. Um, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I want to see it from Minnesota. Before I crown him, I would love to see Anthony Edwards, lead this team to a championship along with Gobert and Towns. I don't trust Boston. That's why I think Indy and Boston, I think that's going 6 or 7 games. Do you agree with me?
Well, the problem is, but it should go more than 5. But Boston's IQ, Boston might give them 2 games.
Exactly. They gave Cleveland one, they gave Miami one at home.
But
I don't trust the Celtics.
well, I don't either. I mean, well, I don't know if I don't trust them or I do trust them, but I got to see it.
Yeah, exactly. I
I mean,
think
they
they
got a
could
great team.
I think
Well,
they
they
could
need
surpass
they
Indy,
need
but
Porzingis though. They need
yeah.
Porzingis.
Well, I thought Drew Holiday was going to be a huge addition to them, and he is, but at the end of the day, it all centers around Tatum and Jaylen Brown, right?
Oh, sure, it's about the dudes. See,
Yeah,
role players play off the dudes. The dudes don't play off role players.
yeah. And so,
Now,
and
I will
Tatum,
say this: that Ant's defense. Let me tell you why Ant got my attention last night. Ant
uh-huh.
wasn't very good on offense. Now, of course, he's catching all the schemes, but he didn't
Hmm.
shoot the ball well. But he went and found another way to beat you with defense and playmaking. See, that's
Yeah,
when
I
you
like
got
that.
my attention. When you
Yep,
can dominate a game with playmaking and defense when you can't shoot. That's that Kobe in the finals against Boston when he couldn't score and he had like 17 rebounds.
yep, yeah,
That's when you get my attention.
yep. Yeah, I love that. I mean, I agree. I love Anthony Edwards. I liked him at Georgia. I liked him as a rookie. And it's cool to see him playing in these big, meaningful playoff games now. And yeah, that Wolves Dallas series is going to be awesome. Um, were you surprised that I thought for sure Dallas OKC was going 7 games? Were you surprised that went down in 6 the way it did? And
Well, it
you
would have
know,
went 7 for the last 10 seconds, so you wasn't that
yeah,
far off.
yeah,
That was a good series. But the West is death. In the West, you know, the LeBrons, the KD staff, all these guys, the West is getting dudes, and they're getting dudes that are young, and they're getting dudes on
yeah,
good teams.
yep,
It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough for the Phoenix and Lakers and Warriors to bounce back. They're going to, like my Warriors team, people think they need additions. No, they need changes.
yeah. They're in a tough spot a little bit right now.
Well, they're financially in a tough spot.
Yeah. And I never understood the Chris Paul move.
Well, I don't. I mean, who knows? I think it was a financial.
Yeah.
So
But
I mean, I don't know. But the Warriors got. The Warriors have a problem. Kerr and the vets all got 4 rings and they're loyal to each other. And at some point in time, they're gonna say, "Okay, enough is enough. We got to make changes."
yeah.
Steph is just as much as the problem as Kerr
Yeah,
because he
because
wants his but he wants his buddies with him.
exactly. Yeah,
And
they're
I
all
get
on the
it.
same
I
page.
get
That's the
it.
problem.
Well,
Yeah.
they won 4 rings together. I get it.
Yeah. And
So we'll
so
see.
I'm the opposite because you've said this a few times, how you admire like the Patriot way. You cut a guy a year too early instead of a year too late. And I think I was raised like a loyal fan, so I'm more of like pay Brian Urlacher an extra million to bring him back when he's like in his mid 30s. You know what I mean? Like in the football terms. And like I love the loyalty of like if a guy has produced and won for you for 10 a decade plus, bring him back another year. See if you can run it
Well,
back. Like,
Well, I get it. I go
interesting
back.
debate.
I go back a little farther than you're going back. I go back, and the Bay Area should know this. This is why I. But see, the problem is us Warrior fans. We have a lot of fans who are not from the Bay. They just on the Warriors because of Steph. They just hijacked our
Yeah,
organization.
yeah.
But if you're from the Bay Area, if you're from the Bay Area, the name that you got to remember on the year too early versus year too late is Bill Walsh. Bill Walsh used to say, "Look, I want you at your best. And the day that you're not at your best, you can go play for somebody else." And he didn't care
Mhm.
what your name was.
Yeah. It was just strictly business, right?
That's right. I mean, look at the guys he let go: Montana, Rice, Lott.
Yeah.
He kept his dynasty going, and that's the vision I have. At some point in time, see what messed the Warriors up was when they won the chip in 22. They don't win the
Yeah.
chip in 22. I think they blow it up then. But
Yeah.
when they won the chip, they gave them the respect to run it back, and now they've gotten stuck financially. and
That
now
was
they're in a
that was my
cap
favorite
housing.
chip though. That was my favorite one that they won was 22.
I think the first one was my favorite because it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
Um,
nobody saw that coming.
but like, so you could split it up early. Like let's look at the Spurs, right? You could have split up Duncan early,
Yeah, but
but they
see,
got that ring in 2014. You know what I mean?
but it's easier to split up when you got a 6'11" anchor.
Yeah,
See, the problem with the Warriors, Steph is 6'3". He's not going to give you an anchor like a 6'11" player can.
yeah, that's true. Yep,
So that makes it a little more difficult.
yeah. What did you think of the Pacers? So, I thought that it was. I was like, and a lot of people were talking about Knicks and Celtics. Game 7 in the Garden, it's a wrap, right? And the Pacers go in there on the road, Game 7, and shoot 67%, right? How did they
Right.
do that? That's crazy.
Well, I, see, the problem with the Knicks is they just broke down. It's hard to. I mean, they ran out of bodies, and they were
Yeah,
legs. They were running out of legs. They just didn't have no body. They just didn't have the bodies, and they
they were
just
trying
had
to
bad.
get OG out there, and he got hurt again. And
That was a mistake. They by
yeah,
starting OG, they let the Pacers get off on him, and they let
hmm
Siakam get going. They should have never played him. I'm not saying that game would have been different, but they let Pacers get on top of them because of playing OG. That was a
yeah.
mistake.
That's the tough decisions. It's like, do you try to rush a guy back for a big game, or is he not 100% and gonna hurt you? You know what I mean? That's the
Well,
tough.
that's a tough call. I don't know what you do, but they saw right away he couldn't play, and they had to get him out of there.
hmm Um, but yeah, it's cool to see the Wolves back. I mean, the first conference finals appearance since 2004, back with Kevin Garnett and Latrell Sprewell. It's been 20 years. Can you believe that?
That was a good team they had.
Yeah, that was a fun team and a great coach. R.I.P. Flip Sanders, man. He was awesome.
He was. His son's a good coach, I hear. I don't know much
Mhm.
about his son, but I hear his son's a good coach, even though he wasn't ready to have that head job when they gave it to him. That was just out of respect to his father.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, so I think that on paper, a lot of people are expecting Celtics Timberwolves. Is that how you see it? Do you think that's how it's
Well,
going to
they're
go?
they're the two favorites. I
Yeah,
think I think that's it. But let's not forget Dallas has got two dudes.
yeah. I'm rooting for Dallas, and I think I'm rooting for Dallas Indy.
I don't know if to be honest with you, I don't have a rooting interest in this series, but I sure as hell want to watch the Mavs and Minnesota series. That
hmm
series intrigues me because there's
Yeah.
a lot of, there's some interesting match. I mean, Luca, even if he beats McDaniels, he's staring at bigs. How does he handle that?
hmm
I want to see that. Gobert's he's the key piece.
He
How
is.
does he,
Yeah.
how does he match up?
Do you think Luca? Everyone talks about how much he's like crying and complaining to the refs. Do you think that negatively hurting him, or is that just the way the game is going right now? Is that like I don't know if as an
But here's
opponent you're gonna be like,
here,
oh, he's crying constantly, but like I don't know.
well here I hate his whining, but here's the pushback I get from some people that I trust.
Yeah,
That's the soccer world, the soccer mentality, and the
yeah,
foreign
I get
players grow
that.
up on that. So
Yeah,
I don't, but I can't stand his whining. I hate his whining. But he's the dude though. The dude can play. His game is built for the playoffs.
yeah. He's
He
fun.
he puts brakes on a game. He plays half court. He can beat half court defenses. He gets open shots. I mean, I hate ball pounders. He's a ball pounder, but he's at 1%. He gets players open shots.
Have you been impressed with Kyrie in these playoffs? I mean, a
Oh,
lot of people.
absolutely. Some people saying Kyrie hasn't been good. I
Yeah,
disagree. Kyrie's been very good, and he's making winning plays, and he's
yeah,
playing
absolutely,
with Luca, not against Luca.
absolutely. I
No,
agree.
I think Kyrie's been good, and Kyrie's
Yeah.
been guarding in this play. Luca and Kyrie both have been guarding in this playoffs.
hmm
So
Dallas is fun. I'm rooting for Dallas, for sure, and we'll see. I think they're both going to be great series. I don't see either of them. I think they both go 6+ games. I really do. I can't wait. Do you think that coaching? So for me, Celtics Pacers. If it comes down to like coaching, I'm going Pacers with Rick Carlisle. He's a proven winner. He's a former champion. That's that. I give that edge to Indiana over Joe Mazzulla.
coaching, when you get down to the last four, coaching matters in some situations.
Mm-hmm.
I think when he gets down to the last four, a coach can cost you with bad schemes. I'm not sure a coach can save you with good schemes. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah. Like the
But
dudes have to save you, but a
but
coach
the
can
East
cost
and the
you.
East and the West is different. People evaluate players in the East like they're playing in the West. Man, stop it. Same thing with coaches.
Mm-hmm.
You play in the East, you're not. It's not the same as the West. You can't change my mind on that. I mean, if the Lakers played in the East, would they be in the conference finals?
Might be, probably.
Okay. Phoenix might be too.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're at the bottom of the West. I mean, they got blitzed.
Do you think we
So,
see some of these big name stars leave the West? LeBron or
well, I
KD?
don't even, no, LeBron ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
KD, but LeBron's not leaving LA.
What about that situation with Bronny? How's that gonna go?
I don't
Because he
know.
wants to play with Bronny, right?
Well, they need to be careful. You know what's interesting about that? Everybody, and he says this, the big story, I want to play with Bronny, right? You know what would be a bigger story? If you played against Bronny on the floor.
Something happened. I can't
Can
hear
you hear
you.
me?
Yeah, there we go. I couldn't hear you for a second.
Uh, the story with Bronny, playing with Bronny is a big story, correct?
Yeah.
You know what's a bigger story?
Huh.
If he was ever to play against Bronny on the floor.
That would be cool.
Yeah, see that to me is a bigger story. Only it's a short term story,
I think
but
that's
I don't
more
know.
realistic too.
I don't know if that's going to happen. No, I don't see him as an NBA pro, and he's not ready yet. I hope they don't feed the kid to the wolves because
Yeah,
he's not
that's
ready.
true. I don't think that I heard that Bryce James is has more of a chance to
Well,
do something. Bronny
well,
not so much.
he has a better projection because of size. I mean, I'm not saying Bronny's not an NBA player, but he's not
Hmm.
today.
Yeah.
So
Did you notice, in my opinion, and I hardly watch the regular season anymore because I can hardly stand to watch the regular season. I think it's become practically 82 All-Star games. And so for me, as soon as the play-in tournament starts, that's when I start watching. And I tweeted and posted and said, it's interesting how as soon as that switch turns, you suddenly start seeing defense and effort and playing all out because it's win or go home basketball, right? Do you see that too? Do you agree with me?
well, regular season's open gym.
Yeah. And it used to be better, right? Like 10 years ago, the regular season was still a lot better than this, wasn't it?
Well, regular season's always been kind of open gym. Jerry Tarkanian used to always tell us he would never watch the regular season. He would
Yeah.
look at it once in a while, but he wouldn't watch it. He'd say till they start. He would say, "Call me when the playoffs start. When they start bending their knees and start playing defense."
Yeah, it's true.
That's what Tarkey's always said.
Yeah, I agree with it. I mean, part of it is I'm caught up in the NFL, and so like once the playoffs start, there's no distraction, so I can just sit down and focus and watch the games. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome conference finals, man. I can't wait.
Okay,
Um, yeah, do you think who has the most to gain by winning one? I mean, it's Jason Tatum, right? Isn't it?
I think all of them do. See, I don't ever buy into this window shit. Everybody's got
Mm-hmm.
window. Everybody's got windows.
Yeah.
You why you somebody special that you got a special window? Let's help you win. No, no. Everybody's trying to help their star win. Everybody's got a goddamn window.
Yep.
I don't. That's one thing that drives me nuts on the Warriors. Well, we gotta build. We got the window. Well, LeBron's got a window. KD got a window. Tatum got a window.
Yeah.
Jokic got a window. They all got windows.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the deal.
Yep. And then one more point on the Timberwolves. A lot of talk, all the talk is Rudy Gobert, Anthony Edwards, even Karl-Anthony Towns, Jaden McDaniels. Shout out, Jokic called him the most underrated player in the NBA, Mike Conley.
Yeah, Conley's a special player. I've seen Conley since he was 10. Conley was pro at 10. Conley was so good at it. You can't,
Yeah,
when I say Conley was pro at 10, people just look at me like, is this guy on chemicals? You just don't understand how good he was at 10.
yeah.
Conley could have played on an eighth grade team at 10 years old. Conley was,
Wow.
he was pro. He
I
was
loved
good.
him at Ohio State with Greg Oden. That's when I first
Yeah.
started.
Yeah, Conley was good. I remember when I went and got Brian Taylor, who played with Dr. J, and it was rookie of the year in the ABA.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Orlando, Florida, the Nationals. I went, guy, I said, I want you to come watch this 10-year-old lottery pick. He's like, what are you talking about? I said, come with me. He sat there and watched two possessions. He said, what the fuck? This guy's good.
That's
So
awesome.
it is
Yeah,
awesome. It is what it is, man.
because he's getting older and he's still hooping, man. He's still
Hey,
just as impressive.
I would like to see Minnesota win. I think he deserves a ring.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's
man.
that.
But that's what I think I'm rooting against it because I'm tired. I'm already getting tired of these Jordan comparisons. And if Anthony Edwards wins one already, it's just gonna get louder. You know what I mean?
That's all right. Let it go.
That's
He's
my
he's
joke.
he, he-
They
he's
gotta keep
he's
his name out of their
you know
mouth.
what? Let me tell you something. I don't know what his ceiling is, but it's
Yeah,
pretty high. It's pretty
yeah, it
high.
is. Yeah, I mean, what? 22 years old.
Yeah, his ceiling's pretty high.
Yeah. But the NBA is in good hands, man. We got Anthony Edwards, SGA, you know.
Well, the NBA's in good hands until they go get two expansion teams, and it's going to get diluted, and it's going to take a hit.
That's true.
So the same thing with the WNBA. They're going to get two teams. They don't have enough talent for two more teams.
Did
The
you watch?
WNBA is already top heavy now and bottom heavy. They got nothing in the middle.
I'll admit I don't watch the WNBA, but I'm tempted a little bit because of Caitlin Clark. Have you watched any of her so
I
far in the
I
WNBA?
watched it, but I'm not going to get involved in the conversations anymore in WNBA. It's all personal. It's
Yeah,
all coach
emotional.
talk. It's not basketball talk. So I'm just going to leave it alone. But I watched the game tonight. She's going to be fine.
Yeah,
She's she's going to be fine.
yeah, yeah. It's gonna be interesting, but I can't wait for these conference finals. I'm tempted to pick the Pacers. I really am. I'm tempted to go Pacers in like 7 or something, but I
Well,
just
if you do, have a good day job.
yeah, I feel like Boston should get back to the finals, but I don't have Boston winning at all. I think Dallas or Minnesota will beat Boston, and I think it's going to be Minnesota. You're talking me into it. I think Minnesota's going to win it.
Well, I said last night the winner of the game last night wins it. So we'll see if I'm right.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for anyone, because I said that I was like, if no one can beat Denver, and so for the team that beats Denver, it's like, well, now they should be the favorites, in my opinion. But
Well, we'll see. I don't know.
yeah,
You like your new quarterback?
Caleb in
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah,
Well,
you're a Bear.
yeah, I'm a Bears guy. I like Justin Fields, but Caleb is ridiculous. Like he's got the arm talent. He's got weapons around him. I mean, the expectations are going to be to win now. So
Well,
I'm
that's
excited.
foolish. That's foolish because the Bears ain't winning now. That's
Well,
foolish.
I'm telling you, here's a hot take. Detroit's taking a step back this year.
Here's a hot take. Detroit plays what 80 to 90% of their games indoors on turf. They're a different
Yeah,
team. They're a different team indoors.
at home. Yeah, that's true.
I like the
Well,
Packers in that division this year.
Goff, yeah, exactly. Green Bay is going to be good. Uh, I don't trust Goff, man. Goff is
Wait a
he
minute.
proved me
Go.
wrong.
Well, hold on a second. I'm gonna show you how you can trust him. Go look at
Okay,
his numbers. Go look at his numbers indoors on turf.
okay, yeah. That could be that might be best fit for him, right? Indoors.
Well, that's their and look and then go look at their schedule.
Yeah. But like to me it's the consistency. Like cuz I watched him with the Rams and he had his moments. Like and he proved me wrong. I was talking a lot of trash about Jared
Well, he
Goff
proved it,
last
well, he
year.
proved a lot of people wrong. He
He
proved he
did.
proved the Rams wrong.
Yes.
But you don't
And,
want to
and
know the most underrated quarterback that people never talk about is
uh
Stafford. Stafford's
yeah.
a good.
Yeah. He made he made me mad though. I was like, "Come on, Stafford, knock the Lions out." That's what I wanted was Stafford to beat the Lions in Detroit.
Yeah, but Stafford's good. He can spin it.
Yeah. Yep. And they're going to be good as well, the Rams. Yeah, I just think, the issue with Goff is not really anything but the turnovers. And if he can protect the football, then he can win. And that Lions team is built to win. The team around him, he is loaded. It's all up to Goff though. And if he proves me wrong, I mean, he went to the NFC Championship game. Like, he can do it, but we'll see. Um, Yeah, the NFL is going to be awesome. I'm already getting hyped for the NFL, so don't get me started on that. We got to watch these conference finals and these finals first.
All right. Well, I'm gonna leave you with this. I got Minnesota winning all of it,
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
but we'll
I'm
see.
gonna to go against you so that we're not agreeing. We're gonna be rivaling it out here in the conference finals. Let's go Dallas. Let's go
All right.
Mavs, baby.
Well, the only thing
Luka.
about me putting it on tape, I can't change it. So if I'm wrong, they got a got you moment on me. So, but I like Minnesota. Alex,
Yeah.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
I gotta run. I gotta go take care of my mom. I got some issues with her right now.
Okay. I
Nothing
appreciate you,
serious.
Pete.
All
Thanks for
right,
being
man.
willing to come on all the time, and I love your Twitter. And let's stay in touch. And really appreciate it. Good talk as always.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Yep, you too. Thanks, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and peace.